Hey Bears, I'm Jordan Twinner. On this CTV, we revisit a thrilling finish on the hardwood, talk with students and staff about how the new cell phone policy is working, and we spotlight one of the people here at Chrisman who can always brighten your day. Those stories and more next. It's Truman Week. Wrestling competed against the Patriots Tuesday in the City Champs, and both the boys and girls basketball teams play them to close out the week. The girls play Thursday night at Truman. Chrisman has won 3 straight games in the series. The boys host the Patriots in their matchup on Friday. The Bears will ride a 5-game winning streak against Truman into that game. Their most recent victory came less than 2 weeks ago in thrilling fashion. The team squared off in the championship of the Fog Allen Invitational, right here at Chrisman. A back-and-forth game wound up going to overtime before senior Isaiah Jackson knocked down a buzzer beater to give the Bears the win.
Knowing that I was going to shoot it and knowing how the game was going, I knew the game had to end right there, so I did not want to go to another OT. Walking through it, putting up the shot, it felt really good, and then obviously seeing it go in was probably a big reliever for me, knowing that my body was not 100%.
Jackson says seeing how Truman defended them and the matchups they'll face should help them Friday night when the Three Trails Trophy is on the line. Jackson was one of the 2 Bears to make the all-tournament team in the Fog Allen Invitational. Zachariah Rowe also earned a spot. The boys team moved into the top 5 in state rankings this week. They moved up 1 spot from where they were in the preseason poll conducted by the Missouri Basketball Coaches Association. The Chrisman girls aren't ranked, but did receive votes. The girls also played an overtime championship game the same day as the boys a couple weeks ago, but the ladies lost their game to Staley in the Savannah tournament. Junior Jackie David made the all-tournament team. The Bears then dropped their 2nd in a row when they lost at North Kansas City last week. The wrestling and swimming seasons are also in full swing. After City Champs Tuesday night, the boys wrestling team will compete at one more tournament leading into our holiday break. The girls will head to Columbia right when we return to school for the Wonder Woman tournament. In the pool, the girls team will compete against Lee Summit North and Grain Valley this week. Then they'll head to Belton the first week of school after the new year. All conference football honors handed out a few weeks ago. Following a 3-7 season, the Bears still landed 7 players on either the second team or honorable mention. O.C. Nauer and Marcus Wigfall earned honors at multiple positions. Buy your tickets now for Fill the Den. The final dance of the semester takes place right after the boys' basketball game against Truman Friday night. You can buy a t-shirt at lunch for $10. That shirt serves as your ticket to both the basketball game and the dance. People who do not attend Chrisman are not allowed for this dance. A fundraiser for prom will culminate at Friday night's game. Project Prom is collecting clothing and small household items all week. They will take everything to Savers, which will then pay the group based on the number of pounds donated. All Things Independence brought all new gear to Chrisman last week. The district store set up a kiosk during all lunch shifts. You can also buy online at allthingsindependence.com. Preparations continue in earnest for this year's winter play. Performances of The Curious Savage won't begin until February, but other groups use the auditorium quite a bit this time of year, meaning the crew can't build a set on the stage until next month. Something else that's different with this show is the fact that it was double casted.
A double cast is done because we have so much talent in the school, and I don't want to just say, okay, 11 people only get the roles. So what we have done is put 2 casts in, and one will perform Thursday night and Saturday night, and one will perform Friday night and Saturday matinee. That way they both get a prime time and a not as prime time show that they can do. It's the exact same blocking, so if someone's sick, they're the automatic understudy. So it works really well, but we just have kids that can then do 2 performances instead of 3, but they at least have a role, because 22 people having a role as opposed to 11 is much nicer. We also had to cut over half the people that auditioned as it was double casting. That's how much talent we have at this school. So.
Ms. Hayes says both casts rehearse the same amount of time, but must take turns using the stage. Santa and his helpers came to Chrisman last week. Faculty, staff, and students from the Life Skills Special Education class decorated the science hallway for Christmas and handed out hot chocolate and other treats. It's the latest in a series of events to encourage more communication and interaction between the life skills students and the rest of the school community. The first semester for the new ISD cell phone policy is quickly winding down. The new rule marked a dramatic change for both students and staff. The district made the change in part to help reduce distractions in class. It prohibits the use of phones during the school day except at lunch. Students caught are sent to the office and their phones put into a yonder bag. The rule created a clear divide in opinion between staff and students.
How I feel about the yonder policy is that I feel like it's a little too strict.
I feel that they took things out of proportion in a way because there were kids that could use their phone responsibly. So
I love yonder bags. I love yondering students. I love everything about it.
You know, I feel like it's the right thing to do for our students. I feel like it's going well, and I think, you know, I think our priority number one is for students to come here and get an education. So I think it's something that's really helping and benefiting students to do that.
The policy meant a big change, and not just for the students.
I think the biggest thing is I'm kind of a democratic style teacher. There's a lot of student choice and stuff like that in my classroom, and for me to kind of hold them to that standard of everybody, this is a ban school-wide, and we need to be very diligent with this. I'm pretty lenient on things, but that's one I've really held to. It's been good for me too, but the hard thing was not for the students, it was for me, just to make sure that I was holding people accountable.
Front office staff estimates they yonder 15 to 30 electronic devices each day. This semester, that figure sits at roughly 500 in total. Both figures surprise some.
I thought it would be way higher than that, actually, but I'd be willing to bet that like a lot of those happened early in the year and that we're way below the average now, that a lot of them happen right off the bat.
I thought the number honestly would be higher. I think there's still a lot unreported, and that people are just sneakier than us school officials catching you in the hallway especially. But I thought it'd be a little higher. I think it's a good number.
Enforcing the policy has led to some challenges for some teachers.
I'll just be honest, the big one for me is I think we got to figure out something with coming back from lunch. There's a ton of students that still have a hard time adjusting to putting your phone away after lunch.
I don't know. The only actual problem I've ever had with it was when I yonder a kid, which I've only probably done half a dozen times this year. But when I send a kid, I've had a couple that it would be like their fifth one, and they'd get a call home or whatever, and they throw a big fit about that. So I don't know if there's something we could do to avoid that big fit would be lovely, but I don't know what that'd be.
Some students argue phone use was not actually a widespread issue to begin with.
to some students they were a distraction, and the kids that got their stuff done and had their grades, it was not a distraction.
I mean, I don't believe that phones were like a big distraction. It was like a small distraction, but not too much.
Administrators recently surveyed students and staffs about the policy. They will use the result to see if any changes are needed. Students have some ideas.
To the policy, a tweak I would make is like letting us use it during passing period, letting us use our like earbuds whenever we want.
Probably keep students from being yondered if their grades are good and their attendance is good. Make it more towards the more challenged students.
Administrators say the policy also helps prepare students for life after high school because you can't constantly use your phone when you're working at a job. Last but certainly not least, one of the most impactful people in the school is not a teacher, coach, or administrator. It's Miss Carla. As CTV's George Cerritos tells us, for almost 2 decades she has made special connections with students and staff that follow them throughout the years.
For some students, Carla Mars is that staff member they will always remember, the person who warmly greets them in the cafeteria.
I met Miss Carla my sophomore year. I met her going through the lunch line. You know, it was my first day here, and she was very welcoming. You know, asking me a lot of questions, and from then it was just a bond.
I met Miss Carla a few years ago, my freshman year. I met her when I was going through the lunch line. I was a freshman, I wasn't really sure how like Chrisman flowed or wasn't really comfortable with it yet.
I met Miss Carla when I first started at Chrisman. Was that 5 years ago now? And she was just so welcoming and fantastic.
She doesn't like to talk about herself, but always has words of encouragement for others.
I think that Ms. Carla is a very outgoing person, and she wants to express her kindness around the school and to all the students, and she has a kind heart.
She is quite possibly the sweetest human being in the entire building, in the entire state, in the entire world. She's always kind, she's always positive with people. She comes up and gives me a hug all the time. She's the ultimate Chrisman bear. What we talk about, we want a bear to be in somebody like part of this community. Miss Carla's the best.
She's a very giving person. If you need it, even if she doesn't have it, she'll give it to you. And you know, she just loves everybody the same.
I think she's very nice, very caring, and when it comes to the students and the people in this building, she doesn't really play favorites, but she does show love for everyone, no matter who you are or your background or anything like that.
Even through personal hardships.
I lost my son December 1st, 2016.
And health issues. Her daily interactions provide her the motivation to keep going.
It looks like a day that's going to keep me going in my life because I'm here for the kids.
Every day she pours out herself for others.
My favorite memory of her is just she wants to do what she wants to do and be kind to people, but it's never about her and it's never about being in the spotlight. It's always, I'd rather do it one-on-one and just make a positive impact on people's life.
One thing I'll always remember is her heart and how she always cares about her students.
The kids. That's why I'm here, and the staff.
Her impact is not just noticed by students and staff. Earlier this year, Ms. Carla received the Starfish Award from the district for her tireless dedication to help students.
Just like one person gets it for their service to the entire district, and she got it, and she didn't think it was her, and she didn't think she was deserving.
Well, she plans to stay at Chrisman for a couple more years.
2 more years, and then I plan on working full-time with the elderly.
Her words of encouragement and contagious smile will be remembered by students and staff for a long time. With Jordan Twinner, I'm George Cerritos, reporting for CTV.
That's it for this CTV. I'm Jordan Twinner. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. Look for one more podcast to post before break. From all of us at Chrisman Media, happy holidays. We'll see you next semester.